Fellas and statistically 4.5% not fellas, I decided that it was finally time to do something exceptionally painful for a challenge, and that is the knife only on Black Ops 2's Mob of the Dead. This is an already difficult zombies map, but this challenge really pushed my monkey brain to its limits with the focus and planning it required just to do simple tasks like getting Juggernog. So the rules are that I can only use melee weapons and the grenades I am given every round by the game. The tomahawk is not allowed, nor are traps, and if anything else comes up, I'll mention it when it becomes relevant. Leave me a like and comment for the algorithm because it helps so much, especially when there's no new zombies maps for quite a long time actually. I've also got a lot of cool stuff coming in the next few months, so get hyped on that. So before this game you guys are seeing now, I had a failed run that only lasted until round 6, which says enough of how brutal this challenge is, but what it helped me figure out is the best way to approach these low rounds. And I know that I said the tomahawk is banned, but it's going to be needed to achieve our ultimate goal. Don't worry, I'm not going to be killing any zombies with it though, but for the first few rounds I decided to fill up the dog next to spawn before cutting back through the spawn room itself to open up more areas for myself and soaking out a double points and insta-kill combo. I've got to make back some of the money that my ex-wife took in the divorce. Anyway, so something I haven't also mentioned yet is that because Mob doesn't have a traditional quick revive system, it's actually great and terrible for me at the same time. On these low rounds I'm always juggling using my afterlife ability to open doors or waiting another round to have one so that I can go down and not game over. It's really a balancing act, but on high rounds I can take way more than 4 downs total, which is certainly a help when you have nothing but a knife at your disposal. My next move after doing the laundry room plane part was to tackle the next dog head near the roof. And this is actually where my first game ended, because if you do this on anything past like round 5, 6, or 7, you're absolutely screwed. Similarly here, I took just a crappy down, but I guess that's all it was, just kind of an inconvenience. My sick training skills got me out of there with only one more zombie that I needed to kill that round. Next up is to get down to the docks, and I took the long way down because taking the gondola down would have made getting Jug easy, but it wouldn't have helped me to get the plane or secure a better weapon. And after a very frustrating down where I swear I got one hit killed, you cannot convince me that I didn't get one hit there, but I was able to finish up the last dog head, which means the tomahawk is unlocked and it's time to upgrade our arsenal for the very first time this game. That means I not so strategically grabbed all of the shield pieces and went up to the cafeteria area to go and build it, and this is going to be extremely helpful for the next few rounds. Seriously, this shield is what takes us from the early game all the way up to the late game because it is the absolute giga chad that we are going to be needing. And since I'm not using any of the afterlives on reviving myself, since I'm not worried about going down, the map is finally getting opened up, with me doing the cage piece and shocking the generators for another part in just one afterlife trip. Another thing that we need to actually talk about is Senior Brutus, who made his first appearance on round 9 right as I took it down, and honestly I was under the assumption that he couldn't be killed with melee weapons, because after bashing him a couple of times with 2 different shields and nothing happened, I didn't think you could kill him, so I just said, you know what, he has to go some way, and I just killed him with claymores. Spoiler alert for later on, obviously, yes, he can be killed with some melee weapons. I do believe that this is the only time that this happened though, so I'm sorry. Anyway, on round 10, I finally went to secure the last plane part and turned on Juggernog, which is currently out of my price range, so we're gonna need to come back for that later. And that's the thing, the shield is really great in all honesty, but it generates no points, meaning I'm as poor in game as I am in real life. It's also the end of round 11, which is a better time to take a flight than on September 11th, but before we go off in that direction, it's skull gathering time for the free Blundergat. For those who haven't caught on to it yet, our end goal here is to get the golden spork, which is one of the strongest melee weapons in zombies history. In order to do that though, we're going to need the Blundergat for a step later on. Finally, we take off for the Golden Gate Bridge, leave as quickly as possible because San Francisco smells like homeless people, and let's get back to working on the spork. Our next objective is to shock a spoon stuck inside of a wall, which then sends it to a table where we can retrieve it with a tomahawk. Zombies logic is flawless as always, and continuing with this logic, I stirred this spoon in a bloodbath before heading 2 floors down and then killing a bunch of zombies with the acid gat until the warden and the comments section yell at me to stop. But now that we're done with that, after all of this work, we can finally get our hands on an eating utensil spray painted gold. Fantastic work, gentlemen. Oh yeah, and I still haven't haven't had any Juggernog this game, so it feels like a good time to go and take that leap. By the way, if I didn't do the acid gat kills for the spork, then this video would have been done 5 minutes ago, so it's just kind of a necessary evil. In that step, you're required to actually kill zombies with the acid gat, and nothing else actually works, so kinda, I'm sorry about that. But I'm also not, especially when killing zombies is just so satisfying with this spork. And for those who don't know, the golden spork does just under 10,000 damage, which means it's a one knife kill until round 34. And that also makes it the second strongest melee weapon in Black Ops 2 behind the upgraded 1-inch punch from the Origins Easter egg. But because now I have the power of God shoved inside of the form factor of a KFC spork, I decided to hang out around the docks area for a few rounds until spawns got too quick. Honestly, it just felt good to just be flexing on zombies. This is also where I realized that the spork can kill Brutus, but you just need to aim for the head. I don't know why they made it that specific, but okay. And also having an insta-kill here kinda helps out, I guess. For round 20, we're back to the cafeteria area, just trying to blast through hordes as quickly as possible, honestly, without much thought or care, because fuck it, my spork is golden, and that just makes me better. I'm also almost certain that because I was killing so fast, that my rounds between 20 and 25 were quicker than doing this than it would have been with the Blundergat. Seriously, there's no need to worry about ammo, and this just made it fun as hell and also super quick. But tell me if I'm crazy here, right? Because this weirdly reminds me of Cold War Zombies a little bit in the way that you can just use random dumb shit on rounds that you're not used to using them, and it made me smile maybe a little bit too much. I'm probably crazy, but it's also a good time to mention that I paused my game on round 25, I stopped recording, and then when I came back, I forgot to record again until round 37. Yeah, that kind of happened, but don't worry though, literally nothing happened in the meantime. I didn't even take a single down at that point. All that happened is that now the spork takes 2 knives to kill each zombie, and there's about 150 zombies this round, which means there's a lot of clicking going on. You may have also noticed that my points skyrocketed, which is, if you told me that when I couldn't afford Juggernog just like an hour ago, I would have just, that's a kick in the dick right there. Speaking of downs, I actually take one right here actually, because in my reckless attempt to speed up the game, I failed to notice a zombie spawned in behind me. And that may or may not become a very recurring theme here very shortly. I also got straight up mugged and shanked like I was in London, but don't worry, it's fine, I can say this because I live in Scotland. We've got Glasgow, which is basically the stab capital of Europe. Enough stat statistics though, after a few more minutes I finished out that round, and on 38 I went down again because I've honestly got no excuse for this one. My brain probably just got so used to running at zombies that it saw nothing wrong with it until I was downed. I committed to the spork to the throat at the docks area for a few minutes before heading back to my beloved cafeteria. I'm fat as shit. And just like clockwork, in the next round, I went down in the same spot as round 38 while trying to stretch out a nuke's effectiveness. Apparently, I'm just killing zombies simultaneously slower and faster than I think I am because rounds feel slow, but lots of new zombies are always spawning. It feels really weird, and also I feel kind of bad because that was literally the end of round 39. I didn't have to take that down that round. That was just me being stupid. And what better way to celebrate round 40 than taking it down in the same goddamn spot? I'm a slow learner, alright, because true story, my school got me IQ tested when I was 9 years old because I had ADHD, and then they sent me to a therapist. All I learned from that experience was I didn't like that school very much. Oh, and on round 41, I didn't take it down in that spot this time, I took it in the original spot that I warned you about. So maybe my school was right after all and I'm a little bit slow, but in all seriousness, most of the reason for these downs is that the spork is now a 3-knife kill to each zombie, and I tend to get no kills and then a bunch of them very quickly, so the zombies are spawning in waves. Oh yeah, hey look, yet another down in the same goddamn spot. Seriously, this is getting old. The spork is now a 4-hit kill to zombies on round 42, and this fact just crushed me more than finding out there's no Chipotle in Scotland. I then fucked around and found out very quickly. Now go watch this video of me high rounding a tragically bad version of zombies.